Good evening, friends. I welcome all the participants who have joined this webinar series of Indian Veterinary Association along with the World Veterinary Association. This is a program that we are continuing under the professional development series. And today we have one person. He is well known as a animal reproduction person, and he has contributed a lot in the animal infertility, organizing several farmers infertility animal infertility camps with the farmers in the Maharashtra state. And he is a very known animal extension service person. So we are very fortunate to have him as our expert speaker. And then I welcome on the panel Dr. Chirantan Kadyan, the President of Indian Veterinary Association, Sonatake Umesh Balaji, the General Secretary from Western Region, then Subal Chandra Patra, the IVA person from West Bengal. So all are on the panel today. I now request Dr. Sonatake Umesh Balaji to give the brief introduction of the speaker, please.
Welcome to the International Veterinary Webinar Series produced by Indian Veterinary Association. Today with us Dr. Nitin Markande sir, who is going to talk about the improvement of the conception rate in the dairy animals. Let me introduce Dr. Nitin Markande sir. He is currently working as Associate Dean at the College of Veterinary and Animal Sciences under MAPSU University, Nagpur. He did his graduation and post-graduation from the Marathwada Agriculture University. After that, he started his career as a livestock development officer at Department of Animal Husbandry, Government of Maharashtra. But because of his keen interest in the teaching and research, he joined the Faculty of Animal Reproduction of Marathwada Agriculture University in Parbhani. Then, after because of his scientific contribution and ability to lead from the front side and leadership capability, he has been promoted as Associate Dean. He has published more than 195 research publications in reputed national and international journals. He has a lot of animal husbandry extension activities like radio talks and CD, audio, video, visual activities, and he has been awarded by various awards by recognized his contribution is recognized by various organizations. He is awarded as Best Veterinarian Awards, Aryan Subnis Award, then Krushi Ratna Award, Bali Raja Award, then he has also awarded by the Dr. Ramchandra Parnekar Award, Krushi Mauli Awards. All these awards has been awarded to the Dr. Markande sir for because of his scientific and animal husbandry extension activities. Also, he has been awarded as a late Vasantrao Naik Award for because of 3 times because of his contribution in the animal husbandry extension activities. Dr. Markande sir is also executive committee member of the Indian Society of Study of Animal Reproduction. After this, may I request Dr. Nitin Markande sir to start his lecture, please.
Namaskar. Hello, friends. Myself, Dr. N.M. Markandeya. I am from Parbhani Veterinary College. I am working as a professor of gynecology. And today I am going to discuss with you the topic allotted to me is improvement of conception rate in dairy animals. So I welcome you all for this webinar, and I hope that you will enjoy this scientific session. Friends, India possesses largest cattle population in the world. We know it. We also know that the milk yield is also highest, and we are happy to be animal husbandry practices at village level, because our rural economy is totally based on animal husbandry practices. Dairy animals are integral part of life for farmers and also for animal owners. Productivity of these animals must be highest, and always it is necessary that this particular productivity should continue regularly in case of animals. When we expect higher production, the particular animal should have optimum reproduction. Basically, productivity is dependent upon animal reproduction. And animal reproduction, it deals with estrus, pregnancy, calving, and then followed by once again another type of cycle. So this type of regularity in reproduction is expected from the cows and buffaloes. And this regularity is possible only if we are maintaining the animals in a proper manner. We always require best cooperation of veterinarians, farmer breeders, and also the technicians to have optimized productivity from animals. Today's topic regarding consumption rate is directly related with we all. We want higher consumption rate in our Indian animals. We want it more. We want it highest because our aims must be very high. We should provide best services to the farmer breeders, and that is possible through artificial insemination technology. This technology is assessed by the consumption rate which we are getting in case of animals. This technology is available in India since last 40 years. We are providing frozen semen straws at grassroots level since last 40 years. But acceptability of this technology and demand for this particular technology should come from farmer breeders. We know that we are lacking in this particular regard because owners, they are not getting results from this technology. And the point of the resultant output of artificial insemination technique is consumption rate. So we are going to deal with this particular aspect now. Friends, our country is a rich bank of animals, and also our country is a rich bank of infrastructure regarding frozen semen technology. At present, we have 44 A and B grade frozen semen laboratories in the country. We are producing 105 million doses per year. We have army of trained technicians, and the number is 105,000. Institutional system is carrying 72,000 and more artificial insemination centers in the country, and we are expecting maximum number of inseminations from this available system, because our cattle population is highest in the world. With the recent 20th animal census, we have noted that there are 192.49 millions of cattle, 109.55 millions of buffaloes, and this much 300 plus million population needs regularly under technological coverage. However, we have to improve the coverage. We have to improve results of the technology in our country. Now, when we say that our country is a rich bank, but unfortunately, currency of this particular bank is poor. It is because consumption rate of the technology which we are providing to the animal owners is up to 35%. It has reached to 35% in recent years, but earlier it was very less. It was just 20%, 22%. Many a times we have recorded reduction in the consumption rate. It is also important to note that our coverage of this particular technology is also poor. We are not totally inseminating the animals. Available number should all get benefits of artificial insemination technology, but slowly we are improving our infrastructure to different schemes. We expect 1500 artificial inseminations per institute. We expect ideal conception rate per insemination. We expect that the trained artificial inseminator should not commit any mistake in getting the results of this particular technology. So if we consider all those points, it is possible for us to improve from present scenario. 50 million straws are being used regularly per year in our country, but number of pregnancies which we are getting out of these 50 million inseminations per year are less than 10 millions. So friends, we will have to go for next important aspect of this particular technology, which is the baseline, and where we should consider why there are problems with this particular technology. Of course, the reproductive physiology of animals is undertaking the processes of reproduction in a totally different manner than that of the other body systems. So we have to understand the basic difference of reproduction in case of animals. If we consider the male and female animals, males, they reproduce with continuous reproductive activity. Semen production is a continuous work of the male animals. Output of semen is also an important function of male animals. This is continuous work. But when we think about females, reproduction is cyclic and phasic in case of animals. Cyclic is dual cyclicity. Phasic, it is related with the gestation, parturition, postpartum phase, and once again resumption of dual cyclicity. So the reproductive activities are taking place in a different manner in male and female animals. Similarly, this particular system has its difference of working pattern as compared to the other bodily systems. This system starts functioning only after puberty, only after optimum body weight of the animal. This system is totally controlled by neurons and hormones. Neurohormonal control is there. Also important that this particular system is not required for living the life. Physiological necessity does not exist as far as the reproductive system is considered. And more important, if all other bodily systems are working normally, then only the reproductive functions are normal. Friends, farmer breeders will ask, what is the significance of this particular system? significance is directly related with the production. We want more milk production, and for that purpose, we should have optimum reproduction from animals. So if animals, they reproduce with a regularity, with high efficiency, our production rates can be increased. Milk production and the calf production. These are all production criteria from the bovines, and we expect these things through artificial insemination only. Why we have gone for this particular technology, frozen semen technology? It is only because there are 25 distinct advantages of this particular technology. Every inseminator should know all advantages of artificial insemination technology, and all inseminators must have capability to convince that this is the only technology which is useful than that of the natural breeding. Otherwise, farmer breeders, they should never converse, they should never say that natural breeding is more comfortable for them and they are getting results of this particular natural breeding system. Friends, if we are perfect enough in scientific knowledge, then we can definitely counteract the comment of farmer breeders, and we can go with the technology for higher outputs and for the higher production. Now, the problem which we are going to deal with this particular technology is the conception rate. Once we inseminate the animal should become pregnant. If we total it, if we make additions of number of insemination attempts, then estimate of how many number of animals have conceived is the conception rate. Very simple thing is that conception rate is the percentage of inseminations, those are resulting into the conceptions in the pregnancies. Likewise, conception, it starts with the fertilization, it starts with the formation of conceptus, it starts with embryonic development, and then slowly it is converted into a fetus, and finally we are getting the calf. So once we inseminate the animal should conceive. Pregnancy is conceptualized, it is established after insemination. Once we inseminate it, we have to estimate our performance statistically, and that is called as the conception rate. It is expected that our efforts regarding artificial insemination of a estual cow should result into establishment of pregnancy in cows and buffaloes. For those results, we will have to work with this particular estimate, because this particular estimate at present is not having encouraging type of the results. What should be the target for ideal conception rate under field conditions? Yes, world over, we have accepted that 1.6 inseminations are more than sufficient. Those are ideal, those are ideal as far as this conception rate is considered. Worldwide, there are criteria to recognize what should be the optimum type of conception rate in case of cows. What should be acceptable? Optimal is more, acceptable is less than optimal. So we are accepting the rates under field conditions only because there are many limitations of this particular technology at field level. Say for example, buffaloes, they will show always less performance for this particular technology than that of the cows. Reproductive rates are slow in case of buffaloes, and therefore buffaloes, they are not giving better results as that of the cows. If we inseminate the cows, then with the first insemination, 45% animals should become pregnant. The remainder, when we are going to inseminate to next cycle, 50% of them should become pregnant. Whatever is the remainder, 50%, they should once again become the pregnant. And with these three insemination, 85 to 90% of the stock that should become pregnant. So this particular 3 inseminations is for total stock. But if we come to average, 60% conception rate means out of 100 inseminations, 60 animals should become pregnant. That should be the assessment criteria for we all under field conditions. It is important to note that this particular criteria is possible if involvement of all factors which are related with conception are totally addressed and total scientifically justified. Now, which are the factors which are related with this conception rate? Definition itself includes that cow in estrus, male who is going to provide superior germplasm, owner who is detecting the estrus and who is providing opportunity for the stool cow for insemination from trained technician. These are the 4 important factors which are directly related with each other for excellent or optimum conception rate. These factors are equally responsible and they are totally responsible. Their participation is equal and total. Now, what is equal and total? That every factor should have 100% efficacy for 100% resultant output of conception. Say, this particular involvement of factors can be very well understood with the present table. Now friends, here if you observe that if all factors are working with 100% efficacy, the conceptions will be 100%. We expect that every attempt of insemination will result into conception and we will have pregnancies from the animals. Any single flaw of a single factor, the flaw may be very, very small. If efficiency is reduced from 100 to 95%, entire conception rate will go down by 5%. Similarly, it will go down to 90% if 2 factors are contributing. If 3 are contributing, it is coming to the 80% only conception rate. So we will have to understand this particular chart where it is clearly indicated that there should not be any flaw of any of these factors which are going to contribute for less conception rate. Now, one by one, we will discuss these factors so that our idea will be clear that how to improve the conception rate. And it is possible. It is just possible for we all to improve the conception rate. That should be our objective for this particular seminar. Yes. Now let us discuss about the prerequisite factors which are responsible for conception. Success of the artificial insemination depends upon 3 important factors. Number 1, it is related with the time of insemination. At what time you are going to inseminate the cow. Second important, it is related with the site of insemination. At what site in female reproductive tract you are going to deposit the semen. And the third one, the straw which you are going to use, whether it is carrying optimum number of sperms, whether they are live, and also important thing is that whether those sperms are structurally normal. So a straw should have 3 criteria: time and site of insemination. These are to be decided by the inseminators. But when we are providing male reproductive factor constant through frozen semen straws, It is bounden duty of frozen semen laboratories, semen production stations to provide such a quality straws which carry optimum number of sperms after coin. It carries live sperms, also it carries structurally normal sperms for successful fertilization. So with these three criteria, if we consider the insemination, definitely we will get the results. The first factor is the time of insemination. Friends, estrual period varies in case of animals. Our Indian cattle is of different breeds. Nondescript category is the largest category. That is followed by descript category. That is followed by the crossbreds, and lastly we have exotic type of animals. More particularly HF we have. More number of HF crossbreds we have, but still we have Jersey crossbreds. Descript breeds, 48 recognized breeds are there from cows, and non-descript population is enormous in our country. For the time of insemination, always remember that non-descript animals, when they are in estrus, their duration is very less. 16 hours, 18 hours, that's all. And if a cow starts the estrual period in the night hours, in the morning only the animal remains in the estrus and animal is off the heat in the evening hours. So, for non-descript category, on detection of estrus, it is possible to go for artificial insemination. For descript category, our standard AM/PM rule is applicable. But for crossbreds, where 36 hours to 48 hours and 48 hours to 60 hours is the extended period of estrus, normal estrual period. But when we consider this particular period as a longer than that of the descript type of cows, we will have to inseminate these animals in the late phase of estrus, in the third part of the estrus, 12 hours before cessation of the estrus. And for that purpose, we will have to understand the language of farmer breeders. If a cow is in estrus for 36 hours, from today morning to tomorrow evening, that much period, then farmer breeder will indicate that his cow is remaining in estrus for 2 days. If cow remains in estrus for 48 hours, today morning, tomorrow morning and day after tomorrow morning, owner will report that his animal remains in estrus for 3 days. We will have to understand the language. So total duration of the estrus is important, because all inseminations should be in the last phase of estrus, in the last 12 hours of the estrus, and for that purpose we will have to understand the importance of these minor observations by the farmer breeder, that how much time his animal remains in estrus. Once animal comes in the estrus, and if owner is presenting his case for the insemination, inseminator should think twice whether I have to inseminate this animal or not. We are going to discuss this particular point in a more comfortable manner, maybe some few minutes afterwards. Second one is the site of insemination. All inseminations are expected beyond mid-cervical area up to the point of bifurcation. In no case any organism which is present either in the vaginal passage, in the cervical passage, should enter inside the uterus. Uterus is most comfortable incubator. It is moist, it is warm, it is providing nutrients, it is controlling the temperature, it has proper pH. It is providing every comfort to the bacterial organisms, and under the circumstances, no one should take any risk of carrying the infection through this artificial insemination technique. So AI, artificial insemination, should not get converted into artificial infection, and for that purpose limit our guns up to the level of internal os. That's all. Why we should inseminate in the cervix? Scientific reasoning is that cervix is related with selective barrier of the sperms. Only normal live sperms are allowed to enter inside the uterus by the cervix. Cervix will monitor number of sperms being entered inside the uterus. In a phase-wise manner, sperm batches are sent to the uterus. Most important thing is that all dead sperms which are detrimental, those are carried away toward the exterior by the cervical mucus. So these are the advantages, these are all the functions of cervix, and therefore we should consider that cervical barrier should not be crossed by our guns, that is insemination guns, and therefore limit your guns up to the level of internal os of the cervix. I will suggest that please record 500 cases of insemination. Put your observations on paper. Check whether you have got best results at mid-cervical region, at internal os, whether you have got best results at os cervix, or even at bifurcation point, and then come to the conclusion that for yourself, best site of insemination is so and so. So, this particular exercise is necessary by every artificial insemination technician, and then only the correct site can be achieved and we can have successful type of insemination. Since almost all doses are coming from elite frozen semen laboratories, we all expect good quality frozen semen straws having best post-thaw motility and consideration of number of live and motile sperms that is already taken care of by the frozen semen laboratory. So these are the important type of criteria which we are interested to discuss. With these criteria, the field veterinarians from different states, they have worked hard and they have improved their conception rates. So to cite with Punjab, Haryana, West Bengal, Gujarat, these states, they have taken efforts to improve the conception rate. Regularly they are discussing this particular point, and there are some NGOs which have achieved up to 75% conception rate in case of animals. Our target should not be limited to 1.6 inseminations per conception. Friends, one insemination, one conception should be the motto of veterinarian from 21st century, veterinarian of 21st century from India, and therefore one insemination, one conception, that type of criteria if we have, definitely we will improve in our performance and we will have better type of conception rate at field level. I'm sure that many of you may not be with me for this particular purpose, that one insemination, one conception. But friends, remember, if our selection criteria is perfect, it is possible for us to go for one insemination, one conception. Now, how to achieve the high conception rate? Yes, we can discuss other factors like this. Proper heat detection by the owner. Owner is expected to have this particular function, and this is possible if animals are maintained in loose housing system. In earlier extension programs, we used to recommend go for heat detection program daily. Go to the farm in the morning and evening hours, cover all the animals, check all the animals and select which are those animals which are in stress. Nowadays, loose housing system is the best system of management, requiring less labor, less expenditure, and also it is efficient only because heat detection is not at all an issue in loose housing system. Animals which are in stress are showing sexual behavior, or those animals which are not showing the signs of the stress even after having in the stage of stress are pointed out by the herdsmen. And therefore, friends, the loose housing system is the best one for heat detection program. Good quality semen, always select semen straws from government frozen semen stations, from NGOs, from recognized veterinary institutes, and always consult with your government veterinarian for having selection of the straws. Poor quality straws will lead to less consumption rate. Proper handling of the semen is necessary for artificial insemination technician. Every care should be taken that straw should be under liquid nitrogen and there should not be any transfer damage for this particular straw. Sound health of cow, that is more important, and this particular health is more importantly the reproductive health. Discharge must be clean, uterus must be healthy, there should not be any type of infection in the uterus. Low grade endometritis is a regular limitation for higher consumption rate. No animal should be inseminated if animal is carrying some turbulent or some whitish, some smoky type of discharge. These animals we can very well delete from insemination list. Timely artificial inseminations, we have discussed that proper time of insemination is to be judged by the local veterinarian, and the site should be on the basis of our personal experience. So technicians, they have to take care regarding this. As far as the insemination skill is considered, the skill we can improve if we have habit to record all reproductive details. So if reproductive records are available, then definitely we can improve our insemination skills. What it indicates? It indicates the heat intervals. On the basis of heat intervals, we can select the stress for insemination. Pre-insemination rest. When a cow is presented to the clinics or to a dispensary, wait for 20 minutes. Let that cow to settle so that there will not be any type of stress at the time of handling of the animal at the time of insemination. Once cow is presented to the clinics with the symptoms which are detectable to the farmer breeder, it is not necessary that the symptoms means stress. On the contrary, always remember that symptoms are not true indicators of the stress. Stress can be confirmed only by the veterinarian, only by the examination of the animal, and this particular stress which is confirmed by the veterinarian is fit for insemination. All stress stages, all stress symptoms are not fit for insemination, and therefore we should understand the logic of examining the animal on the day of the stress for confirmation of the stress first, and then we have to go for artificial insemination. Now, when a cow is in stress, and if we have to go for artificial insemination, always veterinarian and inseminator should prefer Horn pattern assessment test at dispensary level. If horn pattern is perfect, 70% conception rate is assured. It is assured. But very few field veterinarians, they take efforts for assessment of burning pattern of estual mucus. It is my humble request to all AI technicians that please assess burning pattern, demonstrate it to the farmer breeder. Let us confirm the estual stage first, and then we will go for artificial insemination. Another important thing is that whenever you are doubtful about any type of discharge, at field level, at dispensary level, at remote places, white side test is a simple test which can be performed with the estual type of discharge, and we can either select or we can reject the animals for artificial insemination. So selection criteria needs to be rectal examination. In doubtful cases, it is white side test, and always it is the confirmation of firming pattern that is required for getting successful type of results. Now, thawing is the most important procedure. Majority of the sperms are getting damaged at the time of thawing, and therefore procedure of thawing must be perfect. Let there be some time required for this particular procedure, but unless there is lukewarm water having proper and optimum temperature, in absence of thermometer, one should not assess the temperature of thawing media. Another important thing is that removal straw from container should be in a single jerk, and thawing procedure must be scientific one. After insemination, there should not be any hurry for removal of that particular animal from the crate, for discharge of that animal from the premises. So let that animal take slight rest, and post AI management should be linked with advice to the farmer breeder that he has to record the date of insemination, he has to record the bull which is used for insemination, he has to note dam's milk yield of the bull, he has to record the date of insemination, and he has to record next expected date of the estrus if there is a failure of this insemination. So once owner is advised for all these post AI managemental type of practices, definitely it will be useful to improve the conception rate. Many times estual cows after insemination, those are bred by stray bulls. So always keep those animals at the doorstep after insemination. More important thing is that whenever cow is in stress, it is necessary that no managemental harassment should be there to the cow. Provision of fodder, provision of water, allowing the animal to roam as per own accord of the animal, that is all necessary, and we should always strive hard for these type of things. Now friends, conception rate will be improved if the heat detection is perfect one, and if we are getting those animals which are in stress. Number 2, there should not be any type of stress. Number 3, many hormones are available in the market. That doesn't mean we should use those hormones for or at the time of insemination. Many farmer breeders, they insist for progesterone injection at the time of insemination. Thanda hone ka injection, thanda hone ki tika. We should resist. We can understand the knowledge level of the farmer breeders, but it is necessary to advise that unless required, appropriate hormones are only used after insemination. Otherwise, there is no need of any type of use of hormone after insemination. Unless the cow is problematic, there is no need of using of hormones at the time of insemination. Ovulatory delay that we have to assess from the records, and owner can help us for the ovulatory type of observations. Nutrition must be proper. Provide good quality feed, fodder, concentrates to the animal. Provide minerals to the animal from the date of insemination up to next 10-15 days, so that establishment of pregnancy will be smooth. Most important thing is that it is not necessary that every animal which is presented for insemination should be inseminated. Owners will suggest that his animal has shown the signs of the stress. He has observed the signs, and now your duty is only to inseminate. No. Field veterinarian is the best judge for selection of the cases for insemination. Friends, many cases are unfit for insemination. We have to understand which type of cases are unfit for insemination. And the most important criteria for unfit type of cases is the first postpartum stress, first pubertal stress. In case of cows, that means in case of pubertal heifers, cows and buffaloes, both, first 2 cycles are irregular. We are not expected to inseminate these animals. First postpartum stress is also irregular, and we are not expected to inseminate first postpartum stress. And therefore, always consider this stress as stress for examination. We should examine the stress. We should put our observations regarding this particular stress and always go for insemination to the second postpartum stress. Yet another point which is very important under this technology is that technology asks for inseminations to regular stress. Regularity can be assessed if we have a record of stress before 21 days. Animals which were in stress before 21 days, if they exhibit the stress after 21 days, then they are in the regular stress type of insemination, because it leads to poor conception rate. But more important thing is that animals are unfit for insemination. So there are advantages of deleting such a type of cases, and efficacy of the inseminator will increase if he is able to select more number of unfit cases for artificial insemination. Insemination after calving. We expect cows to be in stress after 60 days of parturition, whereas we expect buffaloes in stress after 90 days. No animal is expected to come into the stress before this much period. But if animal comes to the stress, we have to ignore this particular stress. We have to record the date and we have to ignore. If animal comes into the stress on proper time, that is on 60th day and 90th day, the first postpartum stress is stress for record. That is not a regular stress, number one. Number two, this stress will provide us information about duration of the stress. Owner can record how much time animal was in stress. That will be useful for us to select the time of insemination in the next regular stress. Third important thing, it is important because this particular stress will provide the discharge, and if this discharge is not transparent, it is opportunity for the veterinarian and also for the farmer bidder to get his animal treated for low-grade endometritis. Best opportunity. Within 5-6 days, we can go with the treatment recommended by the veterinarian, and then we can have a clear, healthy type of stress as a first regular stress, and we can have the pregnancy. Very important, 18 days. It is seen when there is an onset of the stress in case of heifers or in case of seasonal breeder animals. We will have to consider these cases only after complete assessment. It is the important criteria to delete where the period of interestrual period is less than 18 days, and always we have to prefer the interval of 19 to 24 days as a regular type of stress. Friends, Many a times animals, they are coming into the stress after 27 days, 30 days, 35 days. This is indicative of probability of fertilization followed by conception, but discontinuation of pregnancy. Conceptus may not be continued more by the animal, and these animals are coming into the stress late as a prolonged type of stress, inter-stress interval. We will have to consider these type of cases on merit basis, and we will have to assess every individual case for its treatment and also for successful results during the next insemination. As far as the stress is considered, basically everybody should understand that animal which is in stress should have overt signs of stress, pronounced signs of the stress. Animal should indicate the stress. Number two, all estual stages should lead to ovulatory stage. Ovulations are expected after stress, and every stress must be of ovulatory type. Prompt ovulation is expected from animals. Third important thing is that fertile stress. If ovulation occurs, stress should have opportunity to become converted into a fertile stress through conceptions. Through successful conceptions, fertile stress can be denoted. Discharge of the stress must be transparent, crystal clear, ropey, and there should not be any type of contamination with this type of discharge. And the duration of the stress must be optimum as per the breed of the animal. So friends, if we consider all these factors, definitely it will be possible for us to go for successful type of conception. Whenever we are palpating these 12 animals, please remember that uterus must be intrapelvic, symmetric, and it should have a tone. Tonicity is characteristic during stress. No CL is expected during the stress. Also, there should be one fully developed mature Graafian follicle on one of the ovaries. So that is also a criteria when we are selecting the animals for insemination purpose. Every technician, every veterinarian should understand the interplay of hormones during stress cycle. The level of, and there should have been formation of progesterone. Progesterone should come into the picture for a long time of distress period. That should be followed by release of prostaglandins if there is no conception. But if there is a conception, it should be possible to go for continuation of the progesterone. It should be indicative of successful type of conception. So friends, interplay of hormones during the estual cycle is most important. Now, when we come to the clinical cases, these are our observations that even after having the expected type of the stress, we are getting stress of different types. If it is a regular one, it is fit for insemination. If it is irregular one, if the duration is not proper, then it is unfit for insemination. If ovulation has happened, then only the animal will conceive, otherwise not. So all inseminations should be followed to the ovulatory stages, and therefore post-insemination examination of the animal is recommended. Now ultrasonography is available. Wherever possible, we can also go for post-ovulatory confirmation, that is after insemination. Duration of the stress should not be short. If it is short, our insemination timing must be matched to the last phase of the stress. In case of prolonged stress, our criteria to decide time of insemination, it should also be prolonged. Now, owner of the animal has a onus to report regarding the extended duration of the stress. He should record and he should report that his animal is showing extended duration of the stress. Once this observation is there with the animal owners, it is always useful for the technician to appropriately select the time of the insemination. When the estual signs are poor, animals should not lose the opportunity of getting inseminated. So, perfect rectal examination is always confirmatory, and it is the criteria for selecting the animals for insemination. Type of stress, whether it is weak one, intermediate one, or whether it is overt one, that should not be the criteria for insemination. Veterinarian's examination, rectal examination, rectal confirmation of the stress should be the criteria for insemination. Now, in case of continuous stress, we can go for insemination in the last phase of the stress. But if the stress is a split stress, always it is mandatory to go for second insemination. Split stress is the stress with the two phases. The first phase and the second phase is linked by some rest. Second phase, because it is again eruption of estual signs, indicating that ovulation has not occurred, we will have to go for insemination or the repeat insemination. In case of natural or the induced inseminations, our criteria for insemination should be perfect regarding confirmation of the stress. Whether it is naturally induced or whether stress is induced through hormones, confirmation of the stress is always necessary before insemination. And no infected case, we should go for insemination. Of course, we know that under field condition, there are n number of bacteria, there are n number of pathogens available in the reproductive tract, and these are leading to endometritis, that too of low grade type. No case having low grade endometritis should be inseminated, and we should not go for such a type of inseminations. The most important thing is about semen handling. When frozen semen is provided to the technician as a constant factor of male reproduction, straw collection must be considered scientifically. Thawing container should be proper. Whatever is recommended, that should be the thawing type of apparatus. Thawing medium should be having normal, optimal, and it is the temperature which is required for the thawing. Duration of thawing is also important. Never delay the thawing period, never reduce the thawing period, and always use correctly thawed semen for this purpose. Now, if we go for all those things, definitely it will be possible for us to have the maximum conception rate. Friends, nutrition is an important factor. Animals which are gaining body weight, they are always toward the positivity of becoming pregnant. So always results are possible if animals are gaining the body weight. Recommend this particular criteria for animal owners to record the animal weight, animal body weights, and we will get the idea whether we are leading in a successful, whether we are leading the successful path toward the successful insemination. So for all that purposes, the nutritive care of the animal must be perfect one. Never rely on antibiotics and antiseptics. Hygiene and the care. It is just possible that we should keep all animals very healthy and in a very clean, under the clean environment without antibiotics and antiseptics by our proper managemental care. It is possible to boost conception rate with the help of some herbals. Go for it. Whatever is known, whatever is possible, we can try. Ashwagandha, Shatavari, these are the things We can try it in case of the animal. There is no harm regarding this. Nutraceuticals, jaggery is there, minerals are there, vitamins are there. Yes, we can use it. But basically, these fulfillments of these nutraceuticals is important in the diet of the animals which are coming into the stress. Safer type of chemicals are available like clomiphene citrate. Since long time we are using this for ovulatory purpose. Clomiphene citrate, we can use it on the day of the estrus for ovulation. Buserelin acetate is also a chemical. Go for it. Whenever required, veterinarian should recommend for this, and we can improve our conception rate, and we can have better type of conception rate in case of animals with correct use and proper use of buserelin acetate. Under hormones, please remember that FSH is of no use on the day of the estrus. LH, in terms of ovulatory concern, we can use it, but once only we can use this hormone, and detectable level, detectable dose or predictable dose is very important. The veterinarian can decide how much LH he has to use for ovulatory purpose in case of the animals. Then only we will get the results. Friends, now we are on the last part of this particular topic, where our responsibilities are more for extension of this particular technology among the farmer breeders. Emphasis should be that we should make the farmers aware about this biotechnique. This is a biotechnique. This is not a technique. This is biotechnique. Frozen cement technology is not understood properly by the Indians. The first and the foremost thing we can do it, that we can popularize the advantages of this particular technology. Raising the farmers' awareness regarding this particular technology should be the extension criteria for and advising technical advances in animal management system. It's possible for us
in animal
to,
management
with
system.
AI,
It's possible
we can
for us
also suggest
to,
improvement
with AI,
systems in
we
case
can
of the
also
animals.
suggest
No
improvement
shortcut,
systems in case of the
but seek the
animal.
advice of the science or the technology for getting best results of this particular technique. Now, it is also important to have many type of extension activities through audio visual aids. Popularize the AI system through audio visual aids. Electronic media is available. Present your concern for improvement of coverage of artificial insemination. Go for publications. Whatever is known, whatever is scientifically correct, you can go for publication. Local fairs and events, which should be taken into consideration as an important say point for extension type of activities. So for village level, these type of fairs and the events are most useful for popularizing the technology. Gram Sabha, always Gram Sabha is useful dais for extending this particular technology. Go for public oath. Go for public oath regarding artificial insemination, that yes, I will rear my animals only with the technology. I will not go with the traditional type of practices. And I expect Kritrim Garbhadan Gram in India. Artificial insemination village, that is a dream of India. We have Nirmal Gram, we have Tantamurti Gram, we have many types of grams, but we don't have artificial insemination gram. Sarpanch must be involved. Revenue system must be involved. Healthcare system should be involved. Even our education system should be involved in extension criteria of this particular technology. All government agencies, if they put their hands together, it will be possible for us to go for extending this particular technology and have more coverage of this particular technology. Monitoring and vigilance, regular assessment of our criteria or consumption rate, that is most important. Lastly, I feel that this particular technology is very, very important because it can double income of the animal owners. Friends, dream of our Prime Minister can be fulfilled if we can opt to the coverage up to 80% level, consumption rate up to 80% level, and definitely milk will give us sustainable type of commodity for improving our rural economics. I think I am fortunate to have this particular opportunity to discuss with you regarding improvement of consumption rate in dairy animals. Friends, this particular webinar was possible only because of the help which is rendered by my thick friends Dr. A.P. Patil and Dr. B.L. Kumawat. They are working with me in my institute and they have cooperated a lot. I am thankful to IVA and also to Dr. Umesh Sontakke for providing me this opportunity for webinar. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Markande, for such a nice lecture that you have given, which is of very practical importance. And as I can see, the chat which is going on with the within the our participants of this webinar, very useful chat is going on, and everyone has appreciated the your presentation and the knowledge that you have shared with all the veterinarians. That will be very useful in the field. And a few of the questions have been asked during that presentation, and I can see some of them you have replied also. But if one or two, I will ask if you are online, Dr. Markande. Are you online, Dr. Markande? Dr. Santosh, can you check whether he is online? Very good evening, Dr. Markande. I am Dr. Malik. Not audible, sir. Not audible. Your voice is not coming. Dr. Kadyan? Dr. Kadyan? Dr. Santosh, please check whether some problem from our end. Voice is not coming.
You are now unmuted.
Okay. So how to go with that? How to go with that, Santosh?
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Kadyan.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Very good evening, sir. You are perfectly, your voice is very audible, but Dr. Markande's voice, that sound is still stuck somewhere. There were few questions which have been asked by Dr. Nitin Bhatia, Dr. Panu, or Dr. Markande. You can just put that your answer on the chat. That will be okay for all the all our viewers.
You are now muted.
Hello. Hello. He can use the chat. He can reply over that. So I think there is some problem with the connectivity. So now we go to President Indian Veterinary Association for his remarks over this webinar and the lecture what has been taken by Dr. Markande.
Hello.
Yes, sir.